It is so good to be with all of you today. How's everyone doing? Hanging in there, yeah, I feel that. I have to tell you, I'm not doing great. So in the last month, I have watched 2 separate videos of federal officers executing people. I have watched videos of my colleagues getting arrested in Minneapolis. My government kidnapped the president of another country. I have seen countless footage and images of people being abducted, separated from their families, spirited away by masked agents. I have seen images of 5-year-old Liam Ramos in his bunny hat and Spider-Man backpack being abducted by ICE. That's the first month of 2026. And that's not to speak of the many other things that are happening closer to us, right? And for me, that is the joys and challenges of raising 2 wonderful young kids who are now both toddlers. And how of maintaining and growing a marriage and friendships, of managing my own mental and physical health, of my job and meal planning and budgeting and taxes and emails, etc., etc. Does any of that sound familiar? Yeah? And so I think I can safely say that for many of us, even when we are doing okay, even when we are hanging in there, and even when I ask, how are we doing? And we say, we're doing okay, we're not doing okay. We're holding a lot of emotions right now. A lot of grief. You feel me? And so, it is so nice then that this month's theme is embodiment. Because grief lives in the body. The way that we feel about all this does not show up in our brains first. Even in how we talk about emotion, what do we say that it's like to break up with somebody? We call it heartbreak, right? What about when we're nervous? We have butterflies in our stomachs. You didn't know it would be a test. And so what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to say some words, and then we're going to do a little exercise on feeling some emotions and being embodied together in this grief. And as we do this, the questions that I want to pose to you are this: where are you feeling in your body? And what is your body telling you? And I know that I might have lost some of you with that already. So let me start by saying this. I hate doing this stuff. I'm new to it. I don't enjoy it. If you are reluctant, same. But I do it because I need to. It isn't what I was taught, and it isn't how I was raised. I think that's probably true for a lot of us. I've been working with a coach to try to feel what is sitting in my body more and more. And my poor coach has been pulling teeth. So it may feel kooky or embarrassing or vulnerable. But I want to say a little bit about why it's also really important. As I said, I am still learning and relearning this stuff every day. Something I have learned is that the golden rule also applies to ourselves. What is the golden rule? Can anyone say? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But what if we treat ourselves terribly? What does that say about how we can treat others? What if we dismiss our bodies and dismiss our emotions and needs? The golden rule tells us that we might then dismiss the bodies of others. Indeed, a lot of injustice that we are seeing today is perpetrated precisely because people are taught to repress and hate parts of themselves. Therefore, they can hate and oppress others. And if people are taught to sever their empathy, they can do unimaginable things to other people. And we're seeing that right now. We're seeing it in Minneapolis, in Maine, Chicago, right here in Massachusetts. And so the work for justice means that we have to do the opposite. We have to ask, where are we feeling in our bodies, and what are our bodies telling us? Unfortunately, we live in a society and a culture that mostly tells us that our brains are the real us, not our bodies. That somehow our bodies are separate from our brain, which teaches, implicitly or explicitly, that to be the true us, we have to overcome our body's feelings. A quick example, there's a classic sci-fi trope that you might know that somehow somebody tries to live forever by uploading their brain into a computer, right? Or they survive somehow by being a brain or a head in a jar, preserved. As if the brain were the true person. And that's just not true. It's just not true. And it's just not true on a scientific level. The vagus nerve, which I think I'm pronouncing correctly, right back here, carries information between your brain and your organs. 80 to 90% of the information it carries is upwards. From our organs to our brain. In other words, sci-fi got it backwards. We are not brains that tell our bodies what to do. If anything, we are bodies that sense the world and tell our brains what's going on. And I say all of this because, as I said at the top, we're carrying a lot. The chaos and anxiety of the world and our lives is not sensed first by our brain. It's felt down here. We feel it and we carry it in bodies. And as much as we might want to say we want to be there to heal the world, we can't do that if we can't even heal ourselves. If we want to put love at the center, we have to put love at the center of ourselves. And so we're going to be doing some exercises. I'm going to read off some things, some phrases, some quotes, some news headlines. We're going to sit with it. I'm going to ask for some hands or some volunteers to say what you're feeling where on your body. And when I say what you're feeling, I don't mean what emotion. Not what the emotion is, not sad or happy, because that's the brain interpreting. I mean, how does it feel in your body? Heavy, light, hot. We're staying in the bodies. And let me say also that if this is something that many of us are not used to, it could bring up some stuff. If you need to step away, please step away. If this is something that is not for you, if it feels dangerous in your body, not hard, we can push ourselves, right? It feels dangerous in your body, then please don't do it. Right. Okay, so we're going to take 3 deep breaths together first. Ready? And out. Another. Out. One more. Slowly out. Feel free to close your eyes or leave your eyes open, whatever will help you most get in touch with how you're feeling. We're going to start light. The first day of spring. The first day of spring. And warm. That's, yeah. I know for me, I'm getting a warmth on my face in particular. I'm feeling a lightness in my chest. Spacious. Anyone else? Tingling in your upper arm. Children laughing. Children laughing. I actually feel that one in my upper legs. Warmth in your cheeks. Right? If you can go back to your days of college or high school, pulling an all-nighter. Pulling an all-nighter. Feel it in your stomach? Yeah. I can actually feel a tightness behind my eyes. Burning eyes. Lower back, absolutely. Yeah. Butterflies in the tummy, yeah. Tension in the chest, yeah. Okay. This one is going to be a quote from the Star Wars show Andor. The pace of repression outstrips our ability to understand it. That is the real trick of the imperial thought machine. It's easier to hide behind 40 atrocities than a single incident. I'm going to read that one again for everyone. The pace of repression outstrips our ability to understand it, and that is the real trick of the imperial thought machine. It's easier to hide behind 40 atrocities than a single incident. Squeezing in the chest. Tight all over, yeah. Pain in the teeth, yeah. I get some tightening in the forehead and in my shoulders. Okay. We're going to get a little heavier. This is from a New York Times headline. ICE expands power of agents to arrest people without warrants. ICE expands power of agents to arrest people without warrants. Hmm. Fists, yeah, yeah. A need for movement in the arms and fists, feelings in the sinuses, like right before we cry. I feel hot in my palms. Say again. Heart speeds up. Yep. Muscles clenching. I feel a weight in my lower gut. Feeling it in your open mouth. Okay. This is a quote from a news article. In Dilley, Texas, dozens of detained immigrant families held a protest Saturday inside ICE's South Texas Family Residential Center, demanding the release of detained children. Protesters held signs reading Libertad para los niños, or Liberty for the kids. I'm going to read it again. In Dilley, Texas, dozens of detained immigrant families held a protest Saturday inside ICE's South Texas Family Residential Center, demanding the release of detained children. Protesters held signs reading Libertad para los niños, or Liberty for the kids. Shoulders tighten. Lump in the throat. Chest expanding, a need to sit up straighter. I feel it again in my legs, as if they want to spring. In the diaphragm, like we want to shout. Eyes filled with tears. I get a tightening in my jaw. Next, I want to read the words of Anaya Porter, who was the daughter of Keith Porter, who was killed by an off-duty ICE officer. This is real life. This isn't news. This isn't an article I can just swipe away on. My dad's dead. These are the words of Anaya Porter, the daughter of Keith Porter, killed by an off-duty ICE agent. This is real life. This isn't news. This isn't an article I can just swipe away on. My dad's dead. Hands reaching out. Whole being feels empty. Gut clenching. I feel a weight in my gut and in my feet this time. A sagging in my shoulders. tightening in your entire body. Swirling in the head. Rage in the heart. This one is a headline from Religious News Service. Maine clergy forms spiritual shield outside workplaces to protect immigrants from ICE. Maine clergy forms spiritual shield outside workplaces to protect immigrants from ICE. Hope in the heart. Broadening of the chest, same. I notice my head comes up a little bit more. Proud. Pressure and lightening, both at the same time in the chest. This last one comes from Micah 6:8. You may substitute whatever words you like for God. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God? I'll read it again. You may substitute whatever words you like for Lord or God. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God? Deep breath, yeah. I feel it at the tips of my fingers. Hands touching another's hands. Okay, let's take a deep breath again together. That's a lot of feeling. Let me ask, where are your fingers right now? Where are your toes? Give them both a wiggle. If you need to clench your fists and release. Clench your fists. Release. When you're ready, I would like to invite you all to look around the room and make eye contact with someone. Maybe more than one. We've all been here together. Okay, now we're going to take 3 more big, deep breaths. All right? 1, slowly out. Another, slowly out. One more. Slowly out. Doing justice, loving kindness, and walking humbly does not come from up here. It comes from down here. And if you are ever looking for a model, look no further than our children. Listen to them right now. They know their bodies. We are carrying so much. Do not rush to name it. And don't dismiss it. But ask what it needs from you. Sadness needs time to grieve. Anger needs your body to move. And so does joy. Let then our bodies be our guides to whatever role we need to take in creating a world that truly puts love at the center. Let us trust our bodies, feel them, and trust them, even when it seems so painful to feel them and it feels so silly to feel them. Trust that our bodies will know what we need, know when it is time to hit the streets, know when it is time to grieve and rest. What are we feeling in our bodies, and what are our bodies telling us? If we do not feel our bodies, we will only help to build an unfeeling world. The world with love at the center does not start with our brains, but with our hearts.